Good evening, children. Today we are going to start with the continuous of the last part. London forces are attractive forces in nature. Therefore, the interaction energy between the two interacting particles are high. The interaction energy is inversely proportional to the 1 by 6th, inversely proportional to the 6th power of the radius of the two interacting particles. See, suppose this is an atom. Here electron cloud is maximum. Here also electron cloud is maximum due to the oscillation of self-oscillation of electron in the molecules. So this is dipole moment. This is called their London forces. London forces. The force between these two molecules is called London forces. This is an attractive force. The interacting energy is inversely proportional to the 1 by 6th of inversely proportional to the 6th of the radius of two interacting particles. That is interaction energy is inversely proportional to 1 by r power 6. R is equal to radius of the internuclear radius of two interacting particles. One condition is for this process, one condition is that the forces between the two atoms will be between 500 picometer. The distance between the two atoms is minimum 500 picometer. Then only this force will act. Otherwise, the force does not act. Next, the magnitude of these forces will depend upon the polarizability of the atom or molecule. What do you mean by polarizability? Polarizability means the ease with which the electron and the nuclei displaced from their average position. That is called the polarizability. Due to the self-oscillation in the atom, the electrons moving one position at a particular instance, the electrons are concentrated in one position and the nucleus is concentrated in another position. In this position, a temporary momentary dipole moment will be formed. That is due to unsymmetrical electronic distribution. That and all we learned. So the same thing here also. Polarizability means how fast the electrons are dislocated from their symmetrical arrangement to unsymmetrical arrangement. That is called polarizability. Polarizability is directly proportional to London forces. So London force strong. If it is polarizability high, strong London forces are there. If polarizability less, weak London forces are there. Next one is dipole forces. Dipole forces. Right? The polar molecules have partial positive charge and partial negative charge. Before going to explain this, I am going to draw one diagram which easily explains the dipole moment. HCl, hydrochloric acid. HCl, another hydrochloric acid. This is polar molecule. This is another polar molecule. In between these two, covalent bond is formed. Here also covalent bond. Delta plus, delta minus. Delta plus, I will tell you, delta minus. In between them some interactions are there. This is called dipole interaction. Dipole interactions. Okay. So I am going to explain the polar nature. Polar molecules have partial positive charge and partial negative charge. Dipole forces operate between the two molecules. Dipole forces operate between the two molecules which are though neutral but possess permanent dipole. See, when you as a whole molecule as a whole, HCl is neutral because it contains equal amount of positive and negative charge, but it will show some permanent dipole movement. That is due to the electronegativity difference. I will tell you that this is due to the permanent dipole movement is due to the partial positive charge present in one part and the partial negative charge present another part. These two totally called as polar molecule. The partial positive and partial negative charge develop because of the electronegativity between the two bonded atoms in a molecule. The partial charges are indicated by a Greek letter called delta. This is called a Greek letter. This is a Greek letter delta. Then the partial positive charge of one molecule is attracted to the partial negative charge of other molecule, and the partial negative charge of one molecule attracted to the partial positive charge of other molecule. This is called as dipole attraction. Polar molecule, dipole interaction. So the pole will move to this direction, positive end to negative end, because chlorine in this diagram, hydrochloric acid, hydrogen is less electronegative than chlorine. Chlorine is more electronegative than hydrogen. Chlorine attract the shared pair of electrons towards itself because it is highly electronegative, so it attains partial negative charge. At the same time, hydrogen release one electron, so it attains partial positive charge. This and all we learned in the chemical bonding lesson, so no need detailed explanation. So this is the example of dipole forces, hydrochloric acid, and the interaction energy between the two atoms depend upon the attractive forces. The interaction energy is directly proportional to the dipole energy here. Okay, dipole forces. If the forces is strong, the energy is also high. Okay. Dipole stationary polar molecule. For stationary polar molecule, dipole interactions are inversely proportional to the third power of the distance between the molecules. For example, the dipole interaction, the equation is inversely proportional to 1 by R3. Right? This is for solids. For solids such as sodium chloride, etc. Stationary polar molecules, sodium chloride, whatever the molecule containing different charges, they are polar molecules. The rotating dipole, next one is rotating polar molecules. The dipole forces between the molecule is inversely proportional to the sixth power of the distance between the two molecules are called as the rotating polar molecule. Example, rotating polar molecule, this stationary polar molecule. In rotating polar molecule, dipole forces is inversely proportional to 1 power R6, 1 by R6. That is for liquids, liquids like water. We are using water molecule or rotating O2 hydrogen. This again treated with one more hydrogen, like it is going on increasing. So rotating in water molecule, it is rotating polar molecule, so that in that case the dipole forces is inversely proportional to the sixth power of the radius of the internuclear interacting particles. Next we are going, dipole forces are stronger than the London forces because they produce permanent dipoles, and they are weaker than the intramolecular forces like ionic bond, etc. Okay, next we are going to start with dipole induced dipole forces. See, Dipole induced dipole forces we are seeing now. This is the third. First initially seeing London forces. Second dipole forces. Third one is dipole induced dipole forces. The dipole induced dipole forces operate between the polar molecule which has a permanent dipole and a non-polar molecule which have a symmetrical electron arrangement. Right? These polar molecules sometimes polarize the non-polar molecule and delocalize the electron cloud to change their shape. This process is sometimes called as dipole induced dipole forces. See, let us see the diagram. A, B, delta plus, delta minus. It is a polar molecule. It is sometimes non-polar molecule is there. Non-polar molecule. Non-polar molecule. Non-polar molecule is there. So with the disturbance of this one, what happened now? Some dipole moment, temporary dipole moment developed between the non-polar molecule with the effect of this polar molecule. So the dipole induced dipole. This is called dipole induced dipole forces. Right? The shape initially is symmetrical but spherical, but due to the interaction of this polar molecule, the shape will be changed to elliptical. That is, the electron is initially symmetrically arranged. Due to the disturbance of this polar molecule, it is changed into elliptical. The interaction energy is inversely proportional to the sixth power of the distance between the two molecules. Interaction energy inversely proportional to 1 by R6. That is, R is equal to internuclear distance between the two molecules. Distance between the two molecules. That is called the radius. Okay. So these are the terms given in the dipole induced dipole moment in the part. Right? Okay, we are going, next topic is hydrogen bonding. Next we are going to start with the hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding. What do you mean by hydrogen bonding? Hydrogen bonding in the sense bond with highly electronegative elements like oxygen, fluorine, sulfur, nitrogen, etc. They bond with hydrogen. That is called hydrogen bonding. There are two types of hydrogen bonding is there. One is intermolecular hydrogen bonding, other one is intramolecular hydrogen bonding. For example, in the case of ammonia hydrogen bonding, NH3, N3 hydrogen, and it has one lone pair, and again one nitrogen. There is a bond between this nitrogen and this hydrogen. So like that it is going on increasing. So this is called intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So because the bonding takes place between two molecules. Suppose the bonding takes place within the molecule. For example, orthonitrophenol, orthoaminophenol. Let us take orthoaminophenol. This hydrogen and this nitrogen, because nitrogen is more electronegative than hydrogen, there is some attraction generated between the nitrogen and hydrogen, is called as the hydrogen bonding, because the interaction taking place within the molecules, so it is called intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Orthoaminophenol, intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Intramolecular hydrogen bonding takes place. So this type of forces of attraction are called as hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding, let us take HF. Fluorine is bonded with one more hydrogen. This is called hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding is due to strong dipole interaction between the highly electronegative species and hydrogen. Highly electronegative species like fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen are mainly involved. In water molecules is also a very good example of intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Acetic acid is example of intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Now we are going to start with the next topic of repulsive forces. What are repulsive forces? Already intramolecular attractive forces are dipole forces, induced dipole forces, London forces, hydrogen bonding. Now we are going to deal with the repulsive forces. Molecules also undergo repulsion. When they are going under repulsion, suppose a molecule attract each other at certain distance. Here bond is formed. After this compression, more compression taking place. More particles are very close to each other. This time the electron cloud of this and this repel each other, and the nucleus of these two repel each other. That time we feel that we cannot compress the molecule more. So repulsive forces also present in the molecule. The atoms are very close to each other. The electron cloud of both the molecules repel each other, and the nucleus of both the molecules repel each other. This is called repulsive forces. Next we are going to tell you about. So in the case of liquid and solids, in solids the distance between the atoms are very less. So further you are going to compress means they will repel each other. That is why compression is not possible in solids. In liquids also compression is less, but in the gaseous state we can compress a lot because the gaseous particles are zigzagly arranged. They are present here and there, so they can easily compress. Compressed natural gas is an example. Next I am going to tell about the thermal energy. What do you mean by thermal energy? Thermal energy in the sense the heat present in the molecule. When the molecule in motion, they exert heat. That is called thermal energy. The thermal energy increases with increase in temperature. If we increase the temperature, the kinetic energy of the molecule also increases. So thermal energy is directly proportional to the average kinetic energy of the molecule. This is the relation between the thermal energy and the kinetic energy. Next one is the relation between intramolecular forces and the thermal energy. Intramolecular force is the one which attracting the two molecules, which helps to attract the two molecules, that we learned. Thermal energy is the one which separate the two molecules. So thermal energy and the intramolecular forces are opposite to each other. Okay.